Hey Thrive Loud listeners, it's winter. There's a lot of things you're just gonna have to let go in this season, like the sun, the flowers, and the feeling of your feet, and so on. But there's one thing that you shouldn't let go. The Thrive Loud podcast, hosted by Lou Diamond. Just sing Let It Go at the top of your lungs. And remember that in the midst of this freezing winter where you're feeling like you just hate life, Lou Diamond will never let you go. Neither would Olaf. So go listen to this episode and more, because it's not like you're going to be doing anything better outside right now.
This is Dr. Darria, and you're listening to Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond.
You don't need to play it safe.
This was spectacular.
And I'm going to be really honest, so I hope you don't mind.
Yeah, that's what we want.
And there will be bumps in the road. There will be twists and turns.
You needed moxie on the floor and volume.
It's the results and the connections and the improvement, the impact we have on other people's life. And that's when life becomes exciting.
Who do you turn to personally to get back on the thriving track?
I was really interested in how the world works.
Thanks for the great introduction.
It was really very simple. I just read part of your bio. Be brief, be bright, be gone.
Get ready to thrive loud with Lou Diamond.
Welcome, everyone, to another episode of Thrive Loud with Lou Diamond, connecting you to the most inspiring and amazing people that are thriving each and every day. I'm your host, Lou Diamond. Today on Thrive Loud, we have a Yale and Harvard-trained emergency physician, author of the book Mom Hacks, which launches today, if you're listening to this on the release date, February 19th. She's a regular TV expert on Headline News, CNN, The Dr. Oz Show, The Doctors, and Fox News. She's a mom herself, and she is quickly becoming the national go-to doctor for women and parenting health. Dr. Oz refers to her as the Make Life Better for Women doctor, and he's endorsed Mom Hacks, as has Dr. Sanjay Gupta, CNN anchor Lynn Smith, and Dr. William Sears. She's kind of a big deal. Bottom line, she is providing the little hacks to help moms everywhere get back there. I've got this. Thrive Loud listeners coming from Atlanta, Georgia, Dr. Darria Long Gillespie. Dr. Darria, how are you today?
Hi, Lou. I'm fantastic. Thank you for that lovely intro.
I'm excited to have you on a whole bunch of levels. One, because you're just an absolutely awesome individual. Two, you literally have the pep of what we want out of every guest on Thrive Lab, which seems to be what you're doing. But I think our listeners want to hear a little more from you as to this direction and the thing that's launched today and what you've been focused on, because I think it's awesome. And it's really timely in this crazy world we live in today with so many different activities and how difficult it is to be a mom. So give some of the mom hacks and explain this whole story of how this all came to be.
So, Lou, I just have to say, you just gave me a perfect lead in, because I feel like my mission is to get people to stop using the word crazy as an adjective describing their life. It makes me, quote unquote, crazy. But you talk to people, it's now our reflex. How are you? Oh, I'm just crazy. Things are just crazy. What's going on? So that is a quick aside. I want to help people not feel the need to use that. But really, the reason I wrote this book is, as you mentioned, I'm an emergency room doctor, and I am used to total chaos and never enough time. But I always feel that whatever comes through those double doors, whether it's a woman in labor or a person with a heart attack or a car accident, I can handle it, and that I've got this. But then I became a patient and I became a mom, and I did not feel that at all. In fact, if I looked at a lot of my mom friends and I together, I felt like we were very much, I don't got this. So exactly. So I started to wonder, how can I take that mentality I have in the ER? How can I create a system so that we have that feeling every day in our lives as moms of, I've got this?
So I'm laughing a little bit, and I can't remember if it was a conversation we had before we spoke, or if it was something I saw on social media. There's this image that I saw recently that said, I want people to stop wearing I'm crazy busy as a badge of honor.
Yes.
I thought that was
hallelujah. Yes, exactly. We think it seems like it's a badge of honor. It's really like a consolation prize for the fact that just things are chaotic around you, and we just don't have the tools to handle it. And that's not mom's fault. It's just that we're not taught that. We don't get taught that. There's no mom school. I remember being an intern the very first time, Lou, that I held a little baby. I didn't have children before I was in medical school. And I was an intern, and we went in, and there was this little 6-week-old baby. And I was there with my one of my professors. And he gestured for me to pick the baby up. And I kind of gingerly went to like kind of grab it with my pointer fingers by the shoulders. You know how you would hold up a little baby outfit? And he kind of subtly, he was behind them. He gestured with his hand to show me hand under the bottom. And so I was like, oh, and I remember we walked out, and he kind of, had held his composure, and he kind of smiled at me, and he said, don't worry. When they're born, they come out with a book.
I love that. This is actually a perfect segue into this. And Dr. Darria, I want to ask this because I have been to an ER. Unfortunately, I got into a bike accident a long time ago, and I know how stressful it can be. And I've had to take both of my kids to an ER, and fortunately, they're all okay. And what I'm always impressed with, because it's regular run of the mill, when you go into the ER, you're all crazy stressed because it's someone you care about or love, or it's you. But yet to you, it's a regular course of action. Is that what has kind of stemmed that normalcy of the craziness, excuse me using that language, but I'm doing it intentionally, of what an ER world is, on how you can help moms kind of go through the hacks to make things more normal?
Yeah, I think so. I think the thing that helps me operate calmly in the ER is not that I have any special superpower. It is that I've gotten the right tools and experience to know how to handle it, so that even when internally I may want to be flipping out, I know I can't, because when my patients come to me, as you mentioned, they are panicked, they are scared, and they need to be able to come, and I can say, you've come to the right place. I'm going to take care of this now. And so I want moms to feel the same way too. I want to give them solutions. I can help them take care of it.
Okay, so let's give a little bit of what's under the hood here. Can you share with the listeners some or one of the key mom hacks that you provide in the book, so that people can get a little teaser as to what you're hinting at?
Yes, absolutely. And there's 110. So some of them are, but two things about that. One is that I don't expect any mom. I mean, Lou, I do not have time to pee in private. So I do not expect moms to pick up the book and read the book from start to finish. Nobody's going to do that. If they do, that's great. But really what they're going to do, we have a really robust table of contents. There's 4 sections: nutrition, exercise, sleep, and resilience/stress management. So a mom, or really anybody, I mean, I've had dads read this book. I have had people who are not parents at all read this book, and they love it because at least 80% of the book is universal to anybody. So that's really important that we mention that. But I want anybody to be able to pick up the book. They go to the table of contents, find the thing that either is their biggest pain point or that they feel most motivated to work on. And if all they do is that single hack, they will feel better. Mm-hmm. So there's that. People need to know that. And so it's very actionable and doable in that way. Just go choose your own adventure, choose where you want to start. And then just second point, some of the hacks are really tactile and actionable, something you can do right now physically. Some of them are really conceptual and aren't something that you're going to fix immediately. So you're working on your inner critic. I don't expect anybody. If I had the magic pill to fix that today, we would all be happy, but that's something they're going to work on. So one that's a little more tactile, everybody can do tomorrow. Lou, tell me, do you ever have trouble waking up in the morning? You're just like a zombie for a little bit of time. Do you have that, or are you one of those crazy morning people?
So there is that zombie moment when I first do get up. Yes.
Okay. Absolutely. Zombie moment. So this is zombie moment pill, because then a lot of people are tired all day long, and then they try to go to bed at night, but they're wired. They're looking at the ceiling, even though they've been tired all day long. So for everybody who has that, I want you, the minute you wake up tomorrow morning, get bright light. It's going to hurt for a second. Everybody who does it's probably for a millisecond going to be like, I hate you, mom hacks. But I want them to do it. It can be outside light. It can be your bright bathroom light. For me, it's an alarm. I have one of those alarm clocks that turns on light when I wake up, or even your smartphone. But what you want to do is you want to sync wake up time with bright light time. You need those things to sync both your body clock and your circadian rhythm. Otherwise, you're just kind of out of sorts all day and you're tired when you want to have energy and then you have energy when you want to be sleeping. So it shuts down your it will shut down your melatonin so you have more energy in the moment. But since it syncs with your body clock, it also means that night you'll have an easier time falling asleep, and the next morning, an easier time waking up. So it takes 5 seconds or less. It's no effort, and you feel better.
Mostly, this is really interesting, or coincidence. I do turn the light on mostly in the bathroom so I don't miss or I'm able to find the toilet.
Also good for other reasons.
Exactly.
Yes.
But that's a really smart idea. I love that. It's like creating the light or obviously I wake up actually a little before my wife does. So the ability to turn on that light actually does kick me into gear. But that's really cool. Okay. So that's a smart idea. And I would imagine for specifically those that are newer moms, they're getting up at all different hours of the evening or whatnot and all that craziness. I remember those days. I had the worst one. I had that late Friday night feeding shift, like the crazy one, like the 2 a.m. And that was always the hardest.
Hurts.
Yeah.
That hurts.
Those were a long time ago. I'm curious here. So as you put together these hacks, you are a mom of 2 yourself. Were you recognizing that these were things you were doing, or were some of the hacks actually coming in based on the experience you were having as a mom?
A combination of both. I like to say that some of these I learned by clinical trials, others trial by fire. All of them were things I wish I had known before I was a mom. There were some things that, every single thing in this book I went to the research, whether it was science of our, medicine and how our body works, or if it was behavioral psychology and behavioral economics. So sometimes I found things I'm like, ooh, I actually kind of do that. Now I know why it works, but I'm going to tinker with it a little bit to even make it better for myself. So also for me, exercise is how I manage everything. People often say, well, how do you do the ER and have a TV career and a book and run? I'm like, no. Let's be clear. The reason that I can do those things is because I run. It is not it is the driver. But then how can I make that possible for others who maybe don't like to run or don't like to exercise? And how do I do that? But I use these hacks. I've made myself a morning person. I've made myself a morning worker outer, which I am not inherently. I've improved my sleep falling because I had a trouble. My husband's one of those people who could fall asleep standing up, and we're in bed and he's like sound asleep and I'm pissed because he's asleep and I'm awake. So I learned some hacks to really deal with that as well. I've used every single one of these. These were how I got through, after having my second child, those first couple of years.
Hey there! If you're enjoying how Lou is connecting with this guest in this interview, then just imagine how impactful he can be in person. As an international speaker and consultant, Lou Diamond is all about getting organizations to thrive through the power of connecting. To learn more about how you can hire Lou to speak at your company, your conference, or your next event, head on over to loudiamond.net and click the Book Lou button to learn more. He'll truly get everyone to thrive loud. All right, let's get back to the show.
Dr. Darria, I want to ask this question because I have a very good friend who actually is an emergency doctor and professional, and I know how those shifts can work. And I guess I want to ask this question. When you came up with a lot of these ways that you can manage how you sleep better, did this happen? This happened obviously as you were a mom, or was this happening in your training as an ER doctor where you have those really, really long shifts that you're working and not sleeping for a long period of time?
Yeah. So a combination of both. So the challenges as an ER doctor is that your schedule is very erratic. Right. And we know that's really bad for sleep to have someone trying to go to sleep one night at 10 p.m. and then the next night you're working an overnight shift and you have to be alert and ready to go at 10 p.m. So some of the things that I had to start to do were things that I had learned to deal with being an ER doctor. I was also diagnosed with an autoimmune chronic arthritis during residency. So I had developed some solutions to manage that. which later were things that I realized became hacks that became into the book. But really for me as an ER doctor, that use of light and minimizing it at night, maximizing it in the morning and during the day, especially sleep routines, which I go into a lot about sleep routines, and also how to, silence that running mind that you have when you're trying to go to sleep and you're just thinking about all these different things. Because sleep is funny. I can't go to sleep and just say, I'm going to go to sleep, so let me fall asleep. It doesn't work that way. The more you think about it and the harder you try to go to sleep, the harder it is to go to sleep. So, and that's one of the irony and frustrating things about it. It's like the research out of Harvard when Daniel Wegner said, don't think of the white bear. So Lou, for the rest of this conversation, do not envision a white bear, okay? Just make sure that's not in your brain.
That's totally not going to happen now that I have a vision of my white bear. Yes.
Exactly. So same thing with sleep. You can't say, you can't force it. So what are the things that work? In his study, when he told people instead think of a VW bug, it got them to stop thinking about the white bear. So what are ways that you can distract yourself? What are ways that you can decrease those worries to help you sleep? So all of those things I put in the book. And I use even more. I used them last night. I was having trouble falling asleep. So they help people sleep and feel better, energized too.
I know there's 110 of them, but I want to ask this question. Is there one specific hack that maybe you're most proud of, or more notably, you connect most with?
You know what's funny? We were talking about what's tactile and actionable, and then there's the conceptual ones. And the actionable ones are like nutrition. And I think there's some amazing things about behavioral economics. It was like, and maybe we'll get into it in a minute. I was like, really? That works? And which are kind of shocking. So obviously we're gonna have to talk about those. But the stress and resilience chapter, Lou, that was the hardest for me to write, but it really became my favorite one.
And why was it hard? Why was it difficult?
Maybe because probably because I needed all of it so much. And actually, I was writing how I start the introduction. The introduction to the stress and resilience chapter is that I'm standing in my living room, essentially about to cry in front of an electrician because we had, within the course of about a week, I was late on my chapter, which was ironically, I was late on the stress chapter, which is really bad humor from the universe.
You were stressing about the stress chapter. You know what you needed?
I was like,
hold on, Dr. Darria. What you really needed there was a white bear.
Oh, yeah. Thank you, Lou, very much. Thank you. Where were you when I needed you? I needed a VW bug. But so at the same time, our house flooded and we had to move out of the house for 2 weeks. My baby had gotten sick. I'd had to stay with him in the ER overnight. I had my father-in-law had gotten some bad health news and all these. But the straw that broke my babysitter I had for the week that I was going to buckle down and get my book chapter done amidst all this chaos, she quit. So I'm literally saying that the poor electrician man comes up to tell me about some problem that we have with the house that he's now trying to fix from the flood, and I'm just losing it. So anyways, that chapter, I needed every hack in that chapter to survive during that time. But there's a lot of stuff in there about, and that's really one of the more conceptual chapters. And, our inner critic, we all have one. Especially women struggle with imposter syndrome and that feeling of I'm not enough, especially as a mother as well. So there's a lot in there about really helping you challenge that. Not just saying that that's not true and you're a great mom, but which is great. Everybody needs that message. But how do you, in the moment, when you are feeling that way, how do you stop it? What do you do? And one thing is just saying, is that really true? Just giving yourself the moment in the space to say, is it really true that since I forgot my daughter's Halloween costume, she's going to be scarred for life. She's never going to forgive me. We're going to have the worst, most disastrous relationship, and I'm an awful mom. I mean, we all go there. Whatever the thing is, whether it's work, my boss I didn't deliver on that memo very well. My boss got mad. Our relationship's destroyed. I'm probably going to be fired and I'll never be hired in this industry again. And I'll be a disaster and I'll go be living in a cardboard box. We all kind of go there to a certain extent. So number one, is it true? I mean, just stop for a second. Is that really true? And then of course not, but it's hard to see when you're in that moment, isn't it? So taking lessons from cognitive behavioral therapy, kind of helping you challenge that thought and helping you remember some of the good. So there's a lot in there about that. And gratitude, some amazing research out of Harvard showing that we talk a lot about, write down your gratitudes. Well, this one said if you just write down 3 new gratitude things for which you're grateful every night, they literally got people who were low-grade pessimists to become measuring more on the optimistic scale. You can rewire your brain, which is really fascinating to me. There's other things in there about meditation. I always thought, I'm a busy ER doctor. Do I look like the person who meditates?
I've dealt with tons of listeners on this show, and the range of those that do it is amazing. From very high energy type people to very evenly keeled passive. Everyone, and how they do it is unique onto their own.
Yes, absolutely. And it was really a game changer when I started doing it. And so helping moms do that, not in a, here's your hour-long meditation today, but here's a 3-minute one.
Dr. Darria, this is a question that you've either we've done a lot of volleyball bump set spiking here in the interview, so I'm not sure where to go with this, but I normally ask the guests on the program at this time, when you have trouble thriving, you have a TV personality, you are now an author, you have this medical practice, you're a mom, you've got lots of things going on. And obviously every now and then you might need to dive into the mom hacks to get yourself back on track. But I want to know, you personally, what practice do you seek, or which individual do you seek out to help you get back on the thriving track?
Ooh, you mean like an expert that I don't actually talk to, or or like a personal one?
It could be whatever it is. I usually ask the question, is it an individual? Is it a practice? Like you said, you meditate, you work out, you do lots of these things. So there's a lot of variables in there. So let's go into the specific. Is there a certain person you need to go to help you get back on that track? Professionally or personally, or it could be someone, it could be like some people go to their moms. There's lots of different ways that you can do it. I'm just curious how you deal with those off days to get yourself back on.
Yeah, I think, Lou, we all have those moments. I've had, and with my book launch coming up, you have more of those moments. Sometimes people think, well, you're getting a lot of yeses, but for every yes you get, you have no's and doubts. And I think, and this isn't in my book too much, but I think in those situations, I lean on, on my meditations, and I lean on my faith. And because there are times when nobody else entirely knows what you're going through. So I do have wonderful people in my life, and my husband and my 2 best girlfriends, and who you can reach out to. And I'm fortunate that I have great mentors in the TV and media space. But there are times for all of us when you're facing something that you're kind of feeling a little bit alone on. And so building that strength to be able to stand up myself and really know that what I'm doing is something that helps people, and using my own faith as well, my religion and faith to do that. Because I'm not alone in this. And I think we all need to know that.
Oh, it's beautiful and well said. Let's get the admin part out of the way here, because we have a lot more fun things to do towards the end of this little program. And that is, let's share with all of the Thrive Loud listeners all the places they can find you, Mom Hacks, all the social media links. We're going to put it all in the show notes, but it always comes better when it comes from you.
Awesome. So I am Dr. Darria everywhere. So that is DrDarria. Make sure there's 2 R's in Darria, but you can find me on Instagram, which I've been playing a lot around with lately, Twitter, Facebook, and then it's also drdarria.com for the website.
I'm really excited. Yeah. Oh, sorry. There's more.
No.
Yes.
No, just the book you can find everywhere. It's on Amazon. It's on Barnes & Noble. It's all over the place. But if people don't know where to find it, they can go to drdarria.com/momhacks and find a bunch of different vendors there.
We will put a link directly to that so that our listeners can get to it. This is actually interesting. I'm just thinking about your Instagram and your look and feel. I can foresee a situation where you're going to share some of these specific hacks throughout the year. I'm looking forward to that, to see the different ones.
And Luke, the whole point of hacks is that all of our brains, we have that crazy, because our brains are just cognitively overloaded, which you can't handle in the ER. We know it's bad. So most of the hacks are, okay, how can I just leverage the body's intrinsic systems. So the decisions don't have to be made. Your body's just doing it automatically. That's one. Or others where how can I change my environment so that our automatic, like fast brain decisions are actually healthy? So now I'm reducing decisions. And then with the third part, now I've opened up some brain space for you. So you don't feel so crazy. And let's redirect what you're focusing on. That's that's the beauty of hacks. Less work, less brain load, and easier to be healthy and achieve what you want.
Dr. Darria, here's a tough question that is going to be almost impossible to answer. And that is,
oh no,
you're on TV. You are now an author. You are a doctor. If you get to pick one of those activities that you're doing, which one would you pick? Which do you love doing most? And I'll throw speaking into that mix as well.
Lou, I think I'm a doctor first. I will always be a doctor first. That is I help people and I want to make them feel better. And as an ER doctor in their darkest moments. So speaking and TV and everything else comes out of that. But I was giving a talk the other day and a lady fell down and I paused and I said, do you need me to come back there, put on my doctor hat and help you? And she waved. She was probably just more embarrassed than anything. But it's doctor first because that is my core of helping people.
Oh, that's great. Dr. Darria, I ask just about every guest on this show what their all-time favorite movie is. Do you have just one?
Oh, no. That would be impossible, right?
Okay.
It's like choosing a favorite hack or a favorite child. Although, depending on the day, I may be able to do the favorite child part. It depends on when you ask me.
So with that, how many do you have?
3 come to mind.
Okay. And
I didn't have time to prepare this. You didn't tell me. So, I didn't get to go look at my mental list. But so Casablanca has to be there.
Casablanca, huh?
Uh-huh.
Louis, I think this is the beginning of a beautiful friendship.
Yes.
Wow.
Yes.
Very good.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Next one, I'm sure you have the clip for this. Princess Bride.
Oh, there's nothing better than that movie, by the way.
Inconceivable. You keep using that word. I don't think it means what you think it means.
I do not think it means what you think it means.
I think what's so great, by the way, about that thing is that I'm a huge fan of the TV show Homeland. And, that Mandy Patinkin is one of the lead characters on that program. And that's Mandy Patinkin. And it's just so difficult to see him as Inigo and also see him in that role. Like, what a dichotomy over 35 some odd years. I guess what that would be.
My name is Inigo Montoya. You killed my father. Prepare to die.
I love it. And is there another?
Sure. I mean, I could go on, but I would have to say off the top of my head, Elf has to be right there.
Okay. So I want to let you know that Elf is one of the funnier movies, I think, of the whole, like Will Ferrell has done so many movies and there are silly ones, but it is, I don't know what it is about that one. There is one particular clip that I'll share with our listeners here because let me see if I can find it, that I love about it. And here it is, just for your enjoyment and for you, Dr. Darria.
You did it! Congratulations! World's best
Coffee!
Coffee. Great job, everybody. It's great to meet you.
Love that movie makes me cry. I watch it every holiday season and I still cry at the end.
I can tell you that when they're having trouble getting the star on top of the Christmas tree and he just does like a springboard bounce off of the thing
and then knocks the tree over. Yes,
it's just so great. I give credit, by the way, to the young boy actor in that movie who must have how do you not laugh and pee in your pants every time that he comes out and does something?
He's so deadpan the entire time.
He's eating the spaghetti with the syrup. I mean, it's so childish, but so wonderful.
I love it.
Oh, it's great stuff.
I love it.
Dr. Darria, this has been a treat for me, for our listeners. We will continue to see you in all the places that you are. A true honor to have you on the program. And look, we got to launch this episode on the day that your book is coming out. So congrats on all of that. That's really exciting.
Thank you so much, Lou. It's really been a pleasure. Super fun to be with you.
Totally fun to be here. And to all the Thrive Loud listeners, thank you for joining us. And until bye-bye. And until next time, keep thriving onward and upward. And remember, be brief, be bright, be gone.
You did it! Congratulations! World's best cup of coffee. Great job, everybody.
I had to play that again.
I love it so much.
Thanks for listening to this episode with Dr. Darria. As we mentioned in the interview, go check out drdarria.com/momhacks. And while you're there, if you've already purchased the book, you can click Unstoppable to get access to a lot of different promos that Dr. Darria has to offer. Again, that's drdarria.com/momhacks.
You've been listening to Thrive Loud with your host, Lou Diamond. Make sure to subscribe on iTunes, Overcast, or wherever you get your podcasts. And follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Thrive Loud. Or find us on the web at thriveloud.com.